After almost 60 years of strong bipartisan support, Congress has cut all federal funding for public media, stripping away a critical pillar of support for local stations like ours. At Vermont Public, we'll lose at least $2 million this year. If all our sustaining members increase their gift by $7 per month, we'll close that gap for good. Increase your gift today and help close the gap at vermontpublic.org/update.
From Vermont Public, this is The Frequency. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. It's Tuesday, September 9th, and here are today's headlines. A 21-year-old woman pleaded not guilty late last week to murder and other charges related to the fatal shooting of a Border Patrol agent in Vermont. Vermont Public's Liam Elder Connors reports federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty.
Teresa Youngblood initially faced lesser charges, but the Trump administration signaled it would seek more serious charges that could lead to the death penalty. The shooting occurred during a traffic stop Border Patrol agents conducted on January 20th. Agents stopped a Toyota Prius on Interstate 91 in Coventry. Court records state Youngblood stepped out of the driver's seat and fired a handgun at the agents. Agent David Malin was killed in the shootout. Youngblood is from Seattle. She's been linked to a cult-like group known as the Zizians. Members of the group have been tied to 6 killings in 3 states. Youngblood pleaded not guilty to the charges. She's currently being held in prison. For Vermont Public, I'm Liam Elder Connors.
Many people are heading to their doctors and pharmacies to get vaccines as we approach cold and flu season. But this year, the federal government changed its guidance for COVID-19 shots. It's advising only people 65 and older or who are at severe risk of infection should get the shots this year. Dr. Timothy Leahy is an infectious disease physician at the University of Vermont Medical Center. And yesterday on Vermont Edition, he said getting the COVID vaccine should be a yearly tradition for most people.
So if you're over 65 or immune compromised especially, but really anybody over 6 months of age, it's good to make sure that you have at least one a year, and your primary care clinician or other clinicians can guide you on the details.
As for the flu shot, Leahy recommends waiting to get it until October or November. A prosecutor working as Caledonia County's interim state's attorney has secured the permanent job. Governor Phil Scott announced last Friday that Claire Burns would officially take over as the county's top prosecutor. She has served as interim since August 1st after former state's attorney Jessica Zaleski left the job. Burns joined the Caledonia office as a deputy prosecutor in 2021. She had previously worked for 3 years as a recovery services clinician at the Vermont Psychiatric Care Hospital. Burns has also worked as a public defender in Colorado and California. Vermont is researching why there appear to be more bears than usual in the state. The state estimates there are roughly 6,000 to 8,000 bears here based on 2024 data. It's the 4th year in a row the population estimate was higher than the state's goal. Vermont Fish and Wildlife's Jacqueline Comeau is a researcher on the study.
Now that we've got bears, over the past 2 decades that have really reestablished themselves in the valleys with these more diverse food sources available to them, we just wonder if that has allowed this increased population growth.
The team is comparing how bears fare in a place they were traditionally found, the southern Green Mountains, with an area they've settled in more recently, the Connecticut River Valley. They've placed GPS collars on female bears in both areas to track their food sources and reproduction rates as part of the study. Coming up, Senator Bernie Sanders has been embarking on what he calls his Fighting Oligarchy tour. And in a conversation with Vermont Public's Bob Kinzel, he speaks to that effort and what he feels the Democratic Party must do to win back working-class voters. That's after this.
Thanks for listening to The Frequency, where support comes from SRH Law, believing that values and mission still matter. When you need good counsel for your values-based work, whether it's securing our energy future, building affordable and sustainable communities, or advancing a values-led economy, they're here to help you make a difference. SRHLaw.com. Making a difference is our practice.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Senator Bernie Sanders has spent the last few months touring the country to encourage voters to support a working-class agenda. It's estimated that more than 270,000 people have attended rallies for the Fighting Oligarchy Tour in 20 states. And these events have millions of views online. Sanders has been highlighting his long-time priorities, including universal health care, higher taxes on the wealthy, and campaign finance reform. He recently spoke with Vermont Public's Bob Kinzel about the next steps for this grassroots movement.
You've had large and enthusiastic crowds at many of your Fighting Oligarchy events across the country. Do you think the issues that you're raising serve as a framework for Democrats as they approach the 2026 election?
Absolutely. Why do we have an economy that only works for the people on top? And what we're seeing, Bob, is not just, progressives saying this. Literally half the people who come to our rallies are not my supporters. They are, more conservative people. They're Republicans. They're independents. But I think there is a growing anger in this country in an economy that is not working for working people.
Well, do you think that part of the Democrats' problem is that some are also beholden to the influence of large money donors?
Do I think that that is a problem? I think that is the problem. Look, it's not just an economy which is rigged. And again, whether you're a conservative Republican or a Bernie Sanders supporter, everybody knows the case. The current campaign finance system is corrupt. Underline the word corrupt. As a result of Citizens United, billionaires are now able to spend unlimited sums of money on campaigns, and they buy and sell politicians right and left. We have got to get rid of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision and move to a public funding of elections if we're going to create a vibrant democracy and not this corrupt system that we have right now.
Bernie, I'm wondering, what do you say to moderate Democrats who feel that the policies that you're supporting will lead to a massive electoral defeat in 2026 because Republicans will try to paint the Democrats as being socialists?
Well, what I would say is they are dead wrong. I think the issues that we are talking about and the ideas that we're bringing forth, healthcare is a human right. A higher education and decent childcare is a human right. Demanding that the wealthy and billionaires not only not get the tax breaks that Trump gave them, but start paying their fair share of taxes. Widely popular. Making sure that we take care of our veterans, rather than, providing massive tax breaks to large corporations. All of these ideas, Bob, these are not wild and crazy ideas. This is, in fact, exactly what the American people believe in.
Bernie, if the Fighting Oligarchy Tour is kind of step one in raising political awareness, what is step two? Where does the movement go from here?
Well, that's a good question, Bob. And I wish I could give you all of the answers. But one of the things that we are doing is not only endorsing, and the reason I go running around the country, it's not for my health, but it's to try to give support to strong progressive candidates who will stand up to Trumpism and fight for the needs of working families. But in addition to that, those are high-profile cases. We're trying to build a movement of often young people, working-class people, to get involved in the political process, because I have always believed that real change takes place from the bottom on up rather than the top on down. So I think what you're seeing all over this country is more and more people prepared to dip their toe into the political process, learn how to do that. And we are, literally right now working with other organizations and training thousands of people to do that.
You're certainly the person most identified with this movement and these issues. Is there any chance you would consider another run for president in 2028?
Well, as you know, I have now reached my 40th birthday. I'm getting pretty old, Bob. That's a joke. Now I'm going to be 84 pretty soon. So I don't know what kind of national political future I have at that age. Right now, my interest is to help build a progressive movement out of which there are going to be a whole lot of very strong, great young leaders. So it's not about me. I've run twice, proud of what we've accomplished. Right now, the goal is to build a movement, to have great candidates coming up at every level of government, local, state, and national level as well.
Senator Bernie Sanders, many thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you very much, Bob. Take care.
Thanks for listening to The Frequency today. We had additional reporting from Michaela Lafrac and Adia Golston. Today's episode was edited by Stephanie Colombini, and our music is by Blue Dot Sessions. I'm Mitch Wertlieb. Talk to you tomorrow.